What's going on, YouTube, ladies and gentlemen from Twitter and around the world? This is Michael W. Johnston coming to you live from the new show, The Progressive Machine. And on tonight's video, we're going to do a little bit of coverage on the second set of debates, the first night. All right, so I just got done watching the debates. I have to say, I'm definitely impressed with Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and someone who actually kind of surprised me but had a few breakthrough moments, and I really liked what she was talking about, is Marianne Williamson. So these debates, the debate tonight, definitely seemed like it was the centrist, like moderate Democrats teamed up against the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, which is obviously Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. So I think tonight the person who won the debate is Bernie Sanders. I think he did an awesome job. He really had a lot more life to him than the last month's debate. He really stuck to his guns and really held people's feet to the fire and didn't let people get away with saying stupid shit that most center left or centrist or moderates, whatever they want to be called, neoliberals, he really held their feet to the fire and didn't let them get away with the same bullshit propaganda rhetoric that they're used to spewing and fear-mongering people away from progressive views, whether it be labeling it as full-blown socialism, communism, whatever they want to say. Bernie and Elizabeth Warren tonight and Marianne Williamson actually held their feet to the fire, called them out, said what it was, didn't let them get away with shit, and called them on their shit. Marianne Williamson actually made a couple arguments saying, how can you expect America, the working poor, the middle class, the people that are the backbone of the country, how can you expect for them to support and vote for you when you are taking campaign contributions and money from the establishment corporations that are literally screwing this country up, right? So it kind of goes back to and I believe this 100%. If you have a candidate running for president, right, and one of your big views or big things you would like to see happen as a voter is, let's say, Medicare for all. You like Medicare for all. It's something you believe in. It's something that you want to happen. Mind you, 70% of Americans want a program like that. It polls extremely well, right? So let's say you take someone like, I don't know, Hickenlooper or John Delaney, right? And let's say they gave you some bullshit argument about how they want to get to universal coverage, right? But Medicare for all is not the exact way to do it, right? Well, that's them basically beating around the bush to, I take money from corporate donors and I'm going to go and vote and support what they want, what my constituents want, right? So why would anybody vote against their best interest, right? So you have these big corporations, whether it's Goldman Sachs, Wall Street, big pharma, the fossil fuel industry, the military industrial complex, the prison industrial complex. You have all these big entities, right? The establishment and the corporations funneling money into these people's campaigns. As a voter, what in your right mind makes you think that they would actually vote for what is best for you, right? Like, what would make you think if a candidate is taking money from big pharma, the drug companies and insurance companies to fund their campaign, what would make you think that they would ever vote for something like Medicare for all, right? Or if someone is taking big money from the fossil fuel industry, what makes you think that they would ever be for a Green New Deal, renewable energy, electric cars? Like, literally complete bullshit, right? And Marianne Williamson called them out on that. And Bernie, you know, when Tim Ryan was pretty much like trying to call Bernie out on Medicare for all, when Bernie was like, under Medicare for all, it's going to extend coverage to hearing aids, eyeglasses, things of that nature. Tim Ryan tried to butt in and say, well, you don't know that, Bernie. You don't know that. And Bernie said, yeah, I do know that. I wrote the damn bill. Right? That was the big line of the night. I wrote the damn bill. Bernie would know better than any of these people what's in the Medicare for all bill. Right? The idea is Medicare for all is going to happen over a 4-year period. Right now, Medicare is the most popular medical program that we have in the country. And right now it's for seniors 65 and up. After the first year, it'll go to 55 and up. Then it'll go to 45 and up. Then 35 and up. And then everybody's covered. Right? And that's the idea when, excuse me, when Bernie Sanders says things, like he's fighting for unions, the working class, the middle class, the working poor. There's no reason that we should have thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of veterans sleeping on the street, hundreds of thousands of homeless in this country, 40 million people without health insurance, for another 40 million who are underinsured. 60% of our bankruptcies are for medical expenses. We have a crumbling infrastructure. We still have a water issue up in Flint, Michigan for fucking who knows why it's not been taken care of yet. It's ridiculous. When you want to audit the military industrial complex and find out why and what the fuck they're spending their money on, and they're being very wasteful when we're spending more on our military than the next top 10 countries combined, 6 or 7 of those being allies, right? It's crazy to me. We're supplementing Walmart employees and corporations employees, right, with government assistance and tax dollars, because these corporations aren't held to a standard of paying a living wage, a $15 an hour minimum wage, right? The minimum wage was created in the New Deal by Franklin Delano Roosevelt during the Great Depression. And what that did was it was a piece of legislation that held companies and organizations to a certain standard, right? It created labor laws, it created the unions, it created farmers unions, it created a 40-hour minimum, 40-hour full-time work week. It used to be 44 hours, they reduced it to 40. It created a minimum wage so that it could help end child labor, and it could help end like sweatshop, damn near slavery work in the country, right? So the New Deal was a great thing, and Bernie's trying to capitalize on that and expand on it. He wants to expand Medicaid, expand Medicare, expand Social Security, right? So that seniors can retire in dignity. Tonight's debate, Bernie really lit it up. He was great. And all of these, I'll call them what they are, Republicans running as Democrats, right? The Hickenloopers, the John Delaney's, right? They're just a joke. Tim Ryan. I mean, you have to look at people like this and understand that they are the reason that the Democratic Party has lost so much support and how we got Trump in the first place. Because the same old status quo bullshit that Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, all these motherfuckers spew from their mouths is what created Trump. It obviously didn't work under their system, right? So now Trump comes in there and Bernie comes in there, and they're so popular. And yes, they are totally on different sides of the spectrum. And believe me, I don't like Donald Trump. But what they both did, what Bernie and what Trump did, is they spoke to the working class people and said, we're going to bring your jobs back. We're going to make a system that works for everybody. And Trump said, I'm going to drain the swamp. I'm for the working class. And obviously none of that happened. It's complete and utter bullshit. But Bernie runs on policy. Elizabeth Warren runs on policy. And Marianne Williamson made some really great points tonight. I really think you guys should watch the debate. Definitely check it out. It was a CNN debate. I'm sure it'll be all over their websites, all over the internet. You'll be able to find it everywhere. But I would definitely check it out. So all of these centrist, moderate, Republican, Democrats, whatever the fuck they want to be called. There's so many names out there now. Who knows? They all sound like Joe Biden, right? Where Joe Biden literally said in his campaign that nothing will fundamentally change. Let's go back to the good old days, right? The Obama days. He is literally riding Obama's coattails. It's disgusting, right? I mean, there's a reason why he ran 2 other times for office in 1988 and then 2008 and lost. Because when Joe Biden starts talking, he literally fucking shoots himself in the foot. Like, the shit that comes out of his mouth is unbelievable. I mean, Joe Biden voted for the Iraq war, right? 20 years later, we're still there and spent $7 trillion, right? He voted for all the bad trade agreements, NAFTA, TPP. Thought they were a good thing. That was another thing that shocked me tonight. John Delaney openly admitted on stage tonight that he was the only candidate that actually supports the TPP. That guy's a fucking idiot. John Delaney just needs to drop out. The pages, the pages online, the fake pages that they make for John Delaney are just hilarious. You should check them out. But, you know, he voted for the Iraq war. He voted for the bad trade agreements. He wrote the 94 crime bill. He praised and worked with segregationists and opposed busing back in the 70s. I mean, Joe Biden's record again and again has been fucked up. And yes, people can change, right? But do I want a candidate whose entire record the last 40 years in politics has been on the wrong side of things? Or do I want the candidate who's been fighting for the right thing since day one? Bernie has been fighting for civil rights since the 60s, right? Pictures of him chained to an African-American woman being arrested for protesting civil rights, to desegregate housing at the University of Chicago. He marched with Dr. Martin Luther King. He supported and was an activist for gay rights, for women's rights, for union rights, for workers' rights, healthcare, renewable energy and the Green New Deal, rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure, paying our teachers more. I mean, this guy has been fighting on the right side of things his entire fucking career. From the time he was, you know, in college, then he became a mayor, then he became a congressman, now he is a senator, and now he's running for president for the second time. He's still fighting for the same shit he was fighting for 40 years ago, and their biggest critique of him was he's too consistent. Well, I thought it was a bad thing to be a flip-flopping asshole and switch on your fucking views just to pander votes, right? So the fact that he's been talking about the same thing for 40 years means that the problems are still fucking there. People don't have health insurance. There's not enough jobs. People are literally giving up hope. The American dream is shot and dead. So yeah, Bernie really lit it up tonight. So did Elizabeth Warren. They didn't take no shit. They teamed up. They really laid down the law. And it was definitely the progressives versus the moderate centrist fucking Republicans tonight. For sure. You know, and Marianne Williamson also called them out by saying, you know, how can you call yourself Democrats when you're not even willing to fight for the people? Pretty much is what she said, and called them out on several occasions. Bernie did the same thing, and so did Elizabeth Warren. They basically were like, how can you say you want to run for president? And she was, Elizabeth Warren was saying this to John Delaney. How do you want to run for president and basically run on the slogan of, I'm not going to basically get anything done? That's pretty much what he's saying. You know, and Bernie's saying, you know, why are we not dreaming big? Why are we not pushing these big, bold ideas that will literally help millions of Americans? Why are we still defending the insurance companies and the corporations and the establishment and Wall Street and the big banks and all these motherfuckers who don't give a fuck about the working class, the backbone of this country, that none of their businesses would survive without us, right? It's time for a revolution, and Bernie made that very clear. And I think he is the most electable. His favorability rating just came in, I believe, about a week or so ago. He is leading all of the Democratic candidates in favorability, even over Joe Biden. Bernie Sanders is at 72%. Biden is at 69%. Bernie is the most favorable candidate. Every poll showing him beating Trump by double digits. He has over 2 million individual contributions to his campaign. 2 million individual donations. Over 1 million volunteers, more than any other candidate in this country. And he has more donations than any campaign in the history of this country. He is literally blowing people out of the water. And the truth will come out when the primaries start and he starts winning states again like he did against Hillary Clinton. Except this time I'm hoping that the DNC will play this fair. Right? But, you know, I don't have a whole lot of hope for them. Right? But tonight's debate was great. It was nice to see Bernie and Warren not attack each other. They agree on a lot of things. They're in the same lane as far as, you know, a lot of their views. So I think that tonight was a good debate. You should go back and watch it, check it out. Tomorrow's debates will be very interesting. It's Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden, and I definitely believe the busing thing is going to be brought back into play tomorrow night, and we'll see how that pans out. As of right now, Joe Biden's still in the lead in the polls, guys. So we got to do whatever it takes. Donate, volunteer, really fight for this grassroots movement and keep it growing and keep it moving. Biden's at 34%, Bernie's at 20%. Bernie's still in second place, strong second place. And we'll see after tomorrow, you know, if Joe Biden shoots himself in the foot again for the 100th time with all the crazy shit and weird shit that he says, right? So just looking at the people's records, man. Go back, look what they voted for, look what they supported, and make a conclusion for yourself. And Bernie tonight at the debates basically said, look, my record's been solid my entire career. You know, I voted against the war in Iraq, right? I voted against the terrible trade agreements. I want a fair shake for the middle class and working people of this country. I want everybody to unionize. I want everybody to get a fair shake, right? Where the rich stop getting richer and the poor actually have a shot and the middle class grows again. So, yeah, the debate was great. Definitely go check it out. It's worth watching. Bernie, I think, definitely won this one. I think Elizabeth Warren was a close second. And like I said before, Marianne Williamson said a lot of cool shit that made me like her more tonight. Tim Ryan, John Delaney, Klobuchar, Beto, guys, you're polling at like 0 or 1%. It's time to fucking get out of the race and stop wasting everybody's time with your fucking centrist nonsense. If you guys, if your views and your policies were as popular as you thought they were, you wouldn't be polling at 1%, right? You know, people want Medicare for all. 70% of people say that. The Green New Deal. People want that. Over 60%, right? You know, legalizing marijuana, making public colleges and universities tuition free, eliminating the college debt so that it puts more money in the people's pockets for them to help stimulate the economy by spending it out in the world. These are policies that people want. That same old wonky bullshit from the 90s, that same centrist mentality is just not going to work anymore. People are tired of it, and that's why we have Donald Trump. So step aside, let somebody in there who's going to win, period. And that's Bernie Sanders. All right, guys, well, I'm going to head off to bed, but I wanted to get this video out there. I just finished watching the debates. It was on earlier tonight at 5 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Same times for tomorrow. It'll be on at 5 o'clock California time, Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern time on CNN. Check it out. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, all that good shit. Get the word out there. We're trying to grow. And we're trying to help this grass movement grow, and we're really trying to help build the revolution up. So, like I said, like, share, subscribe, retweet, all that good stuff, and comment down below. Give me some criticisms, man. You know, I want to get better. I want to hear your opinions, and if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. I'm always up for the exchange of ideas. So, everybody, have a good night. Let's vote for the candidate that's going to fight for the people, not the 1%. I'm Michael Johnston. The Progressive Machine. Fuck the establishment.